Alrighty guys, what's going on? Welcome back to a brand new video, and today we're going to be taking another look into the Versus series, and we're going to be comparing the PS5 and the Xbox Series X/S. Now these consoles release on November 10th for the Xbox X/S and November 12th for the PS5 respectively. And so they come out in about a week, so this video might be just a little bit late, but yeah, I get comments all the time talking about Xbox versus PlayStation, especially on my Miles Morales video that I did a while ago. But yeah, so I just wanted to kind of give you guys my thoughts on the difference between the two consoles, and kind of give you guys which one I would recommend personally. And yeah, so before we get started though, I just want to say this is all for good fun. I'm not trying to attack somebody for liking one console over the other, which quite frankly I think is kind of dumb anyway. But yeah, so all opinions, I'll give my opinion at the end. We're going to go over some of the basic categories, which I'll list here in a second, but I just wanted to kind of reiterate that no matter what the final verdict for me personally ends up being, pick whatever console you want. It doesn't really matter in the long run. I just kind of wanted to compare the two just for fun on the channel, and because I get comments about it all the time, and I think you guys will enjoy my take and enjoy this video. But yeah, so just also be civil in the comments if this video gets a lot of comments about your preference. Just respect each other's opinions is all I'm trying to say. But so anyway, moving into the actual video itself, we're going to go over some of these basic categories, and these categories include specs, backwards compatibility, exclusive games, size and look, controller, and then we're going to be comparing PS Plus versus Game Pass, because I know a lot of people are going to be like online and whatnot, especially with this new generation of online games and whatnot. And then last but not least, we're going to look at price. And yeah, so with all that being said, let's dive in. Alrighty, and so to kick off our specs section, we're going to start off with the PS5. So the PS5 has a CPU of an 8-core with up to 3.5 gigahertz, a GPU of 10.3 teraflops, RAM is 16 gigabytes, storage is 825 gigabytes, the resolution is up to 8K, the frame rate is up to 120 FPS, and it does have a disk drive for the just standard PS5 version. Now, the diskless version, or the all-digital version of the PS5, whatever you want to call it, it has the exact same specs except for the fact that it does not have a disk drive. So the two different versions of the PS5 will run the exact same whether you have the disk drive or not. Now moving on to the Xbox Series X, it's a little bit better in the graphical and just spec department, I guess. It's got a CPU of an 8-core as well, with 3.8 gigahertz instead of 3.5. The GPU is 12 teraflops instead of 10.3. The RAM is 16 gigabytes, which is the same. The storage is up to 1 terabyte. The resolution is up to 8K. The frame rate is 120 FPS, and it does have a disk drive for the Series X. So comparing the two so far for the two consoles, it seems that the CPU is a little bit better. The GPU is also a little bit better. They have the exact same RAM. There is a little bit more storage on the Series X compared to the PS5, but it's not really that significant if you ask me. And then everything else is the exact same with resolution and frame rate. Now moving on to the Xbox Series S, this is where it kind of takes a little bit of a dip because this is a lower end console. So the CPU is an 8-core 3.6 gigahertz. The GPU is only 4 teraflops. The RAM is 10 gigabytes, storage is 512 gigabytes, and the resolution is 1440p, and the frame rate is only up to 120 FPS, and it does not have a disk drive. So, for me personally, I think that out of every spec that we've just gone over, the Xbox Series X is going to take the win for this one. It's got just slightly better specs than the PS5, but because of that, the Xbox Series X is going to be a winner, so that's going to be 1 point for Xbox. Next up, we're going to talk about backwards compatibility. And so one of the good things about both of these consoles is that they are in some way, shape, or form backwards compatible with the previous generation. So for PS5, it's backwards compatible with almost all the PS4 games, including those optimized for PS4 Pro. So that's pretty decent. But when you compare it to Xbox, who is backwards compatible with all Xbox One games, and then including select Xbox 360 and original Xbox games, when you compare the two, you get a better deal with backwards compatibility out of Xbox. So for that, I'm going to have to give another point to Xbox. So next up, we're going to be talking about what is, in my opinion, probably the most important category in this entire comparison, and that is going to be exclusive games. Because what are you going to buy a console for if you're not going to play games, you know? So both PlayStation and Xbox have a plethora of exclusive first-party and third-party titles. But for today, we're just going to be going over a small list of mainly launch exclusives and then, exclusives that they've confirmed to be coming in the near future for both consoles. So we're going to start off with PS5. And to start off, we have Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is a launch title. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Demon Souls, Destruction All-Stars, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Zero West, and Sackboy: A Big Adventure. And then for Xbox, they have Halo Infinite, Fable, State of Decay 3, Forza Motorsport, Everwild, Avaweed, As Dusk Falls, and Stalker 2. Now, in my opinion, I've always been partial to the PlayStation side of exclusives just because I think that they have the more, fun, more, creative exclusives, in my opinion. You got games like Spider-Man, Ratchet & Clank, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn. Those were all fantastic games on the PS4. And honestly, they don't really hold a candle to what Xbox has. Because in my opinion, yeah, like Halo's cool. Forza's alright, I guess. But in my opinion, PS5 is going to dominate the exclusive game, just as they have been for the last couple of years. So in my opinion, I'm going to be giving the point to PlayStation for exclusive games. So next up, we're going to be talking about the size and look of each of the consoles. Now, we're going to start off with PS5, and if you've seen some of the reviews that have already gone out here on YouTube, you already know that the PS5 is a behemoth. That thing is massive. And so, specifically, it's 15.4 inches tall, 10.24 inches deep, and 4.09 inches wide. So I'm pretty sure this goes for both consoles, whether that be the disc version or the all-digital version. You might shave off a little bit because of the disc drive on the discless version, but they're going to be roughly the same either way. It's no matter which version you get, it's going to be huge. So for the Series X, it's 11.8 inches tall and 5.9 inches wide and deep. That's mainly because of its rectangular, long rectangular sizing. That it's going to be kind of the same wide and deep wise, I guess. And then for the Series S, it's significantly smaller than both of the consoles. It's going to be 10.8 inches tall, 5.9 inches long, and 2.5 inches deep. So significantly smaller, definitely way smaller than the PS5, and just a little bit smaller than the Xbox Series X. So the winner, in my opinion, is going to be dependent on size. So really, whichever size works best for you. So the smallest is going to be the Series S. The biggest is definitely the PS5. In my opinion, I think that the Xbox Series X looks the best, just because it's that nice, like I said, long rectangular. It looks nice on the shelf. I think from the photos and stuff that I've seen, it just fits well. And then for customization though, the PS5 is going to have interchangeable faceplates, so it's a little bit like the new 3DS a little bit, where they're going to be selling out faceplates, which kind of, in my opinion, makes me think that they're not going to do a lot of console exclusives, just because you can just switch out the faceplates and whatnot. But we may talk about that another time. So, in my opinion, I think that this one's going to have to end up being a tie. The smallest being the Series S, the biggest being the PS5. The look, I think, is best on the Series X, and then the customization is going to be PS5. So they're about equal, in my opinion, for each of the four subcategories I had for this section. So that's going to wind up being a tie. So that's going to be a point for both Xbox and PlayStation. So next up, we're going to be talking about each of the different controllers that comes with each of the different consoles. So while there may be third-party controllers later on that could be better or worse than the ones that are included with the consoles, we're just going to be taking a look at the standard controllers that are included with the different consoles and that you can buy separately at launch. So starting out with the PS5 and the DualSense controller, the price point is $70, which I'm not sure if the PS4's controller, the DualShock, was $70 or $60, but if 70 was the original price for the DualShock, I feel like that's a little bit high. But here with the DualSense, I think that is a reasonable price point for what new features are offered with the controller, which we will go over here in just a minute. The design is very similar to the DualShock, but it's just bigger overall. It's got the same color scheme as the consoles, with white on top and down the sides of the grips, and then black for the bumpers, triggers, and the bottom half of the controller. The buttons are the same layout as the DualShock. There's a new Create button, which replaces the Share button, and a new Home button, which is no longer circular, but it's just the PlayStation logo. But other than that, the buttons are the exact same. So the new features include a built-in mic, so you no longer have to use your headphones when talking to friends online or just whenever you need to use your mic in general. There's immersive haptic feedback. So, for example, when playing Spider-Man Miles Morales, when you punch somebody, you can actually feel kind of the punch in the controller, so it makes you feel like you're actually hitting somebody. The dynamic adaptive triggers are brand new as well, and for example, when you're web slinging around New York City as Spider-Man, you can really feel the weight behind each of the web slings. But other than that, it's the same features as the DualShock on the PS4. The charging is brand new as well with the USB Type-C cable, so it's more in tune with the Nintendo Switch. Moving on to the Xbox Series X/S controller, which I think is just called the Series X/S wireless controller. The price point is $60, so it's only $10 less than that of the DualSense controller, which I think is granted because there's not a whole lot more that's new, so there's no reason to hike up the price to $70 as well. The design, there's new textures on the triggers to keep your fingers from slipping, but the general outline of the controller adheres to those with smaller hands, so they kind of did the opposite of what PlayStation did, and they made their controller smaller, where PlayStation made their controller bigger. But other than that, it's the exact same as the Xbox One controller, and it is in all black, so there's no multicolors like you get with the PS5. The buttons, there's a new share button in the middle, and that's pretty much it. There's a new D-pad, which I don't really know if you can call a new D-pad because it was circular like the one on the Elite controller, but other than that, it's the exact same as the Xbox One controller. The features, there's a faster response time on both games and menus, which I don't really know if you can call that a new feature. I think that just goes for this next generation of consoles just in general. It is Project xCloud compatible, so I think that that they got that going for them. But other than that, it's the exact same as the Xbox One controller. They did upgrade the charging to USB Type-C, however, so it is more in line with the Nintendo Switch and now the PS5. So with all that being said, I think that PlayStation is the definite winner here with all of their new, the built-in mic, the haptic feedback, the adaptive triggers. They really went all out to make you feel like you are in the game pretty much, where I think that Xbox kind of did the bare minimum with this one. So with all that being said, the point goes to PlayStation. So next up, we're going to be talking about each of the different online services that are offered for each of the consoles. So there's PS Plus for PlayStation 5 and Game Pass for Xbox. So starting off with PlayStation Plus, we have the pricing being $9.99 for a month, $24.99 for 3 months, and $59.99 for a year. So honestly, the pricing, while not great in my opinion, is also not that bad. So yeah, I'll give that a pass, especially since the features that are included with that 1 year subscription or that 3 month or 1 month subscription are actually really good. So you have free games every month. I think you get 1 or 2 free games, sometimes 3 games for free. 3 is not all that often, but you typically get 1 or 2 free games every month. Exclusive for PS5, you get 20 PS4 games just for free, just straight off the bat. I think even on launch day. So honestly, that's really cool. You get games like Mortal Kombat X, Uncharted 4, and Persona 5 just for free if you didn't play them on PS4. So that's honestly really good in my opinion. online access, like I said before, exclusive discounts on the PlayStation Store. So honestly, that's really cool, especially like on Black Friday. I think they do a lot of PS Plus exclusive discounts that you can get games that are already on sale for Black Friday even cheaper. So that's really good. And then cloud storage for backing up your games. Now, Game Pass is a little more complicated. There's the standard Game Pass, which is $10 a month, which only includes over 100 Xbox games. There's Live Gold, which is different than Game Pass, but it includes online multiplayer. So you don't get 100 games, but you get multiplayer. And then there's Game Pass Ultimate, which is $15 a month, which does include over 100 Xbox games and includes online multiplayer. So I'm not sure why they offer anything other than Game Pass Ultimate, but they do. So it is what it is. The features, however, are lacking in comparing to PlayStation Plus. You only get exclusive discounts on the Xbox Store, and there are new games added regularly. I don't even think it's on a monthly basis like PlayStation Plus's is. So, yeah. With all that being said, I definitely got to give the point to PlayStation Plus here. Just the free games every month. You get 20 games right off the bat for PS5. Exclusive discounts, cloud storage, just for a decent price of $60 for a year, I think is a excellent deal. So I'm definitely going to give the point to PlayStation. And last but not least, we're going to be taking a look at the prices for each of the different consoles. So starting out with the PlayStation, we're going to start with the PS5 with the disc drive, and that's going to be $499.99. The PS5 without the disc drive is going to be $399.99. The Series X, moving over to Xbox, is going to be the same price as the disc version of the PS5 at $499.99, and then the Series S is going to be $299.99. So overall, I think these are really respectable prices for next-gen consoles. I remember there was rumors back when they were unveiling stuff for the PS5 that it was going to be like $800, so I'm glad it's not $800. But yeah, honestly, I think that each of these prices are respectable. The Series S being $300 is very reasonable in my opinion. They could have easily had forked it up to $400, but I'm glad that they kept it at $300. And yeah, overall, I don't think that there's a bad price on here. You just kind of got to pick whichever one best suits you. So with that being said, I'm gonna make this one a tie. I think that both companies did really well on their pricing here. So, like I said, with that being said, this is gonna be a tie. And with all that being said, the final score is going to be Xbox at 4 points and PlayStation at 5 points, and PlayStation is going to be our winner. So, honestly, PlayStation was my personal choice as well. But, like I said, I'm not here to invalidate you if you like Xbox more or PlayStation more. If you like Xbox, get an Xbox. If you like PlayStation, get a PlayStation. If you like Nintendo, get a Nintendo Switch. All three are fine. We're just here to game and have fun. But this video was just for fun. I wanted to look over each of the different the pros and cons for each of the different consoles myself, and kind of make an informative video for you guys as well. So, with all that being said, let me know which console you're going to get down in the comments below. And with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.